Hello. I think we're live. Leave a comment if I have done it right. Maybe you can check on my phone. Did I do this right? I think we're live. We're ready to do the first book club live show. I'm very excited. I'm very nervous. Okay, comments are starting. I think we're here. I think we're live. Hello, Sasha. Lacey's here. Hello. Amber's here. Hello. I'm excited. Okay, it means I think we're good to go. I feel like it looks a little laggy for me, but maybe that's just me. That's okay. Yay, I'm very excited. I'm very, very excited. Oh, Sadie's here. Hello. Very exciting. Okay. I think I must be all set up then. All right. How exciting. Very first live show for the Baby Chaos Book Club. I even have, wait, did I get it? Ta-da, we have the logo. I'm very excited. Okay, so we are discussing the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires today. Very, very exciting. I tried to do the vampire aesthetic going here. I even did my nails like they're meant to be vampire nails with the fangs, but I'm not sure if it is it giving vampire or is it giving lesbian, because you know how like that's how they get their nails done. Lesbians usually get this I was really going to explain why. I mean, I think you know why, but I'm fine with either. But just so you know, I was going for vampire, and I don't know what it's giving. But yes, I'm all vampired up and ready to go. Also, happy Halloween. It is probably not Halloween for you if you're not in Australia or New Zealand or anything. Other time zones is not yet. But it is 10 a.m. on the 31st in Australia. So happy Halloween to everyone. Thank you. Thank you. I mean, can't go wrong. Of course. Sadly, there were no lesbians in this story, which is maybe a different vampire book will give me that vibe. So, if anyone has not read the book, we can do a non-spoiler section and then we can go into spoilers. I think if I've set up everything correctly, hang on. If you comment a vampire emoji, if you have read the book, I think there's like a vampire and there's like a bat, a blood drop, something like that, a cockroach. And if you haven't read the book, comment a peach, because then you don't know anything further than like what's on the cover. I think if I've set it up, emojis should come on the screen. But yes, leave a vampire emoji if you've read it, or a peach if you haven't read it. And we'll see. I feel like the people who are here have told me that they've read it, so some of you anyway. So, and then we will get into the. Oh, there we go. Emojis are coming up. And then we'll get into talking. We'll do a non-spoiler section anyway, even if everyone has read it, just for if anyone is watching the playback, then you won't get spoiled. But yes, hang on, what am I doing here? Okay, I'm seeing vampires. I think we're good. But yes, we'll do a non-spoiler section just in case anyone is watching the replay on YouTube later and they don't want to be spoiled. So, all right, hang on. Let me switch to this screen. There we go. I have made a Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires presentation. Here we go. All right. So I'll do a synopsis that does not have spoilers. This is off Goodreads, if anyone does not want to be spoiled. So we are following a group of mums, and they are in a book club. We're in the 90s, and they're just doing mum things. And then a new person comes into town, a new man, and our main character, Patricia, is a little suspicious of him. And then some children start going missing, and Patricia thinks that it is something to do with this new person to town. I don't know if I should say more than that. I feel like that's all that the synopsis says anyway. So, and I mean, from the title, I think we know that vampires are involved. I don't think that would be a spoiler. Thank you. Trying to make things exciting here because I was nervous. So hopefully this is entertaining for someone. Alrighty. So I have created a little mood board to get everyone into the mindset of this story. If you read it a while ago, I read it at the start of the month. I know like a lot of people save their book club books until the end of the month so that they don't forget anything. I read it at the start, so I knew I'd have enough time. So we're in the 90s. So here's my 90s mood board because we're following some rich mums. I just grabbed like things from movies and TV shows where it's like women in the 90s who were like shopping, and I feel like Hilary Banks from The Fresh Prince. I feel like that is what I was imagining. And then we have other 90s things, the VHS tapes, the phones. The little spiral cord on the phone is in the book. There was a chapter, I'm not going to do spoilers yet, but there was a chapter where someone cut all the phone cord strings and was like, oh, you can't call anyone now. And I was like, oh my God, I'm obsessed with, I think I need to read more books that are set in the 90s. Thank you. I was just throwing together whatever I thought. I might maybe miss some things, but you didn't get the 90s vibe from the book. I feel like the vibes maybe weren't there, but there were references. So maybe that's because love the mood board. Thank you. There was at the beginning, there was an encyclopedia reference. I don't know if anyone else had a set of encyclopedias, but my parents bought this huge set of encyclopedias that we had on our big bookshelf because I guess they thought like, oh, when she's in school, she'll be able to use these and not have to like go and do research elsewhere. And then when I started school, the internet was invented. So those encyclopedias were like never cracked open. I think I pressed flowers inside them, and that was probably the only time those encyclopedias got used. So I'm sorry to my poor parents who thought they were being so organized, but there were 90s. I feel like 90s is my vibe. Yes, but yeah, maybe the book didn't give off super vibes with the whole setting. I don't know, but there definitely were references. Oh, I just thought of another reference. It was in the end, so I won't spoil anything, but they were talking about how they photocopied some pages out of Slick's husband's hunting book and they stuck them up on the wall. And it was just funny because like now you would just Google something to like look it up for the reference. But obviously in the 90s, they pre-prepared and they photocopied pages out of a hunting like textbook and stuck it up on the wall. I thought it was like very 90s. Oh, can I turn this on? Is this going to be better? Oh, there we go. What was I doing? So unorganized. Okay. Go to the encyclopedia. Yeah. Yes. I don't think I maybe used the encyclopedias like maybe once, but once the internet was invented, my poor parents didn't really have much use for those, unfortunately. Anyway, moving on from the 90s. We are in the setting of Mount Pleasant. I do not live in the United States, so I have no idea like what to look at for this setting, but I Googled it and I have the map there where it is, I think, in the country. But given the title, it is, the Southern Book Club's Guide. So I don't know what the Southern aesthetic is. I did see some reviews that said that they didn't like how it was portrayed, but I am not in the US, so I don't know. But I just Googled the suburb and I just like put in some pictures of like rich looking houses because I couldn't really envision. I've never been there, but if anyone has been there, you can definitely tell me. Oh, there we go. Okay, the southern vibes were there. Okay. Oh, okay, beautiful. So you can, I think I read that Grady Hendrix is, this is like from his hometown is where he said it. So I assumed like he would, if he lived there his whole life, obviously he knows what to do. Oh, okay. Run around the neighborhood. Okay. Yeah, definitely. That gave the 90s vibes. I agree with that. Yeah. Call it the Charleston Vision. Okay. Well, that's good to know. Good to know because I've never been there, so I had no clue. I just went off Google for this one. All right. We're going to, I guess, head into spoiler territory here. So I think everyone's read the book that's still here, so that's fine. It doesn't matter. But for anyone who was watching the replay that did not make the live, just letting you know that we are heading into spoilers now. So here's your warning. You got the southern vibes too. Okay, good to know. All right. I have created a cast of characters. So let me know who you would cast as, like, if this was going to be adapted. Who would you cast to star in the movie form of this book? Now, before I show you my my cast of characters, I would like to warn you that I do not watch TV or movies pretty much ever, and I don't know any celebrities. So I Googled like what other people thought, and I found this Reddit post, and I didn't know who any of the celebrities were that they were talking about. So I just grabbed any celebrity that I did know. So it maybe is not accurate. You probably have some better suggestions if you know celebrities better than I do. But let me give you my cast of characters for this book, and this will also hopefully refresh your memory for anyone who needs a refresher of the characters in the book. But here's my cast of characters. So, Patricia, I put Anne Hathaway. One person suggested it, and that is the only person I knew out of the list of all the people were giving me. So I went with it. I don't really know if I envisioned Anne Hathaway, but we're just going with it for me. So if you have a better suggestion for Patricia, let me know. For Ursula Green, Mrs. Green, Viola Davis is the one that I saw other people saying. She was in, there was like a Netflix TV show. I did watch something. It's like How to Get Away with Murder or something like that. And I do see that for her. For Grace, I've got Rachel McAdams, because I also didn't know really any of the people they were suggesting, but I feel like she could play a rich white mum. And Grace was like that character that was like the organizer. She was fixing things for everyone. I feel like Rachel McAdams could do that. Slick, I have Anna Kendrick, and I'm not confident on this one, but I saw one person say it and I went with it. I don't really know. I feel like it could work. Miss Mary, I'm pretty confident on that one. That one to me seems pretty accurate. Mary Ellen, look, I'm going to be perfectly honest here. Mary Ellen is like the character that's like, she's not there in my brain. All the other characters, like, they were there all the time. Mary Ellen, I don't know. She's just kind of there. So I just put this, I did see one person suggest this, and she was in Good Girls, and I have seen her in one thing, but I don't, Mary Ellen could be literally anyone for me. And that's that. And then Kitty, I did see a few people saying Melissa McCarthy for her. And then for James, I did not know. There was probably a lot better suggestions. I didn't know any of the people that they were suggesting. They were, I think, I don't know what country the people there was like two brothers that people were suggesting, but I've gone with this actor. I'm even less likely to know a male actor than I am a female one. So I've gone for this guy. I think he was in Hunger Games, but I just feel like James, he was like younger than them because he didn't like have kids. So he had to like look younger to fit the part of that. Plus he's meant to be like attractive and charismatic. So I just went for like some sort of young looking white actor. And then I called it a day. Did not fan cast any of the husbands because hate them, get them out of here, do not care about them. All the husbands were just the same to me. They're all just one singular white man. And yeah, that is my cast of characters for the book. Oh, you always do this for your books. I love it. I don't, but I feel like I should because this was so much fun. Okay, we're agreeing with Viola. I'm not sure if I know who that is. Maybe if I saw a picture I would, but I'll take your word for it. Okay, I can see Reese Witherspoon. I actually, yes. And she stars in so many things, and she's always a, like lately she's been a mum in them, so, and a rich mum, so interesting. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say most likely you're probably imagining someone else. For James, I went on that Reddit post and I saw one person say this, and that was it. Anna Kendrick feels like Patricia too. You're right. You are right. Actually, you're very right. Okay, we can swap. Okay, so we can go by these comments. Let's swap. Anna Kendrick can be Patricia, and then Reese Witherspoon can be Slick. I feel like that's good. I can see Anna Kendrick as Patricia. Yeah, the husbands did suck, and I do have an entire slide about that coming up. The husbands were the absolute worst. Yes, we can all agree. Okay, we're agreeing with Grace. I haven't seen True Blood, so I'm just going to take your word for it because I don't know any actors. I can look it up later and see, but this is Chris Pine. Okay, honestly, any white male actor could kind of be it. I just don't know any. I don't know any of their names, so I just was on that Reddit post and I just grabbed whoever's picture looked familiar. So I apologize. I'm sure you can come up with a lot better fan cast, but it was fun coming up with this, and hopefully we can all visualize the characters now. But yes, there's the fan casting. I'll give you a quick recap in case you're forgetting. So here is the timeline of events that happened in the book. Hold on, let me make sure. All right. So we have, the book starts out in 1988 in November. Patricia and her family move to Mount Pleasant. She joins the book club, and Miss Mary, who is her husband's mother, moves in with them. She is ill and they need to look after her. Skipping forward to, hold on, let me move my screen because I can't see what I'm doing. May 1993 is when Mrs. Savage, who is the neighbor, attacks Patricia. And then Patricia goes to visit James Harris, who is her nephew, Mrs. Savage's nephew, or someone that's in her house, to give him a casserole, because apparently you go and give people casseroles when their family member viciously attacks you. And then he tells her about this big bag of money that he has, like $80,000 just in a bag. And then she's like, okay, I'll help you open a bank account. And she co-signs it. And then she invites him to the book club. All right. I'm glad this is helpful. You know what? I was also a teacher before I took time off to be a mum. So this was very up my alley. This was, the creation of this is in my wheelhouse of skills. So, right, skipping forward, June 1993, Patricia and the kids are at home and they see a man in the backyard, and then they see that he's on the roof, or hear that he's on the roof. They're home by themselves. That whole scene occurs, and then Miss Mary tells Patricia about Hoyt Pickens, and we get the whole story of Hoyt Pickens. Skipping forward into the next month, July 1993. The swarm of rats attack Ragtag the dog, Miss Mary, and Mrs. Green. And then Patricia visits Mrs. Green, where she lives in 6 Mile, and she tells her about all of the children that have been going missing. She tells her about Destiny, which is the most recent little girl, and she tells her that she's been seeing the white van with the Texas license plate driving around. They discover that Destiny is in fact not in her bed when they visit the mother's house. And so Patricia's like, I'm just going to go look for her out in the woods with my flashlight. So Patricia's out in the woods looking for her, and she sees James in the back of the van with the little girl, Destiny. I'm missing comments here, sorry. Yeah, it did span pretty much, the entire 90s. You're right. I think it's because we're in 1988, and then we skip forward a little bit, and then we skip forward another 3 years. So yeah, it did span. It did seem like a southern name, yes. The rats. Oh my god, the rats. My god. Okay, I'm coming to it. Let me finish my recap, and then we'll get discussing before I lose my train of thought. Right. We're in August of 1993. All the women get together. They call the police on James. They're sitting at home expecting that the police and the FBI are going to be turning up to meet them to discuss James. But who turns up? The husbands, to tell them that they're overreacting and they need to stop. Hang on, just fixing my settings. And so this is where Patricia's not lovely husband medicates her, gives her some medication that she is to take. She takes an entire bottle and she is put into the psych ward. I do have a slide coming up about that whole thing, don't you worry. Right, moving forward again. Now we are 3 years in the future. We're in October of 1996. The men are part of the book club. They're all invested in James's business. They've all invested money into it. And James has befriended Blue, which is Patricia's son. Miss Mary comes to Patricia in a dream and tells her that she needs to go and visit Mrs. Green. She does that, and Mrs. Green shows her the photo from 1928 of James, who is looking the exact same. So they plan together to search his house. Patricia invites Slick to come and help, but instead of helping, Slick tells James and he rapes her. And then Patricia gets stuck in the attic and finds the dead body of James's housekeeper. By the way, I've got stuff coming up on this. Don't worry. This is just, I want to try and refresh everyone's memory, including my own. Now we're in November. Slick is hospitalized. Patricia finds James drinking her daughter's blood. That, honestly, worst case scenario at this point. That would be horrendous. We're still in November. Patricia, Slick, and Mrs. Green get together to convince all the other women, besides Grace, to help get James. Their plan is that Patricia is going to offer herself up to him, and then while he's distracted by drinking her blood, all the other women are going to attack him. They cut him up into pieces and put all the pieces into different bags to burn up, and then Grace arrives to help them clean up. Then the end of the story, everyone assumes that James just fled town because they can't obviously find him because he's cut up in bags, and Slick dies, and then Patricia divorces Carter. There we have the whole timeline of events in the story. Sorry, that took a bit longer than I thought it was going to go. Thank you. I'm glad you are enjoying this. Oh, did anyone else listen to the audiobook? Because it was Barney Turpin, who is like the best audiobook narrator. I did the physical and like audiobook together, and I really enjoyed the audiobook. I really like her narration of things. All right. We're going back to the beginning. So author's note, when I read the author's note, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to love this, because he was talking about how he took his mum for granted when he was younger, and now he's an adult and he realizes like the parents were dealing with a lot of things that as kids we don't really realize. And then that last line, as a parent you endure pain so your children don't have to. And I read this author's note and I was just so excited because I thought, oh my God, I'm going to love this. We'll get into it in a second. I realized I haven't actually asked anyone their ratings. Now might be a good time to do that. Hello, Cassie. The audiobook was fantastic. Yes, I really liked the audiobook. Everyone liked the audiobook. I like that narrator so much. Do we like the book title? It's funny because I feel like the book title made me think that there was going to be a lot more slaying of vampires happening. The fact that there's the word plural, vampires, I just thought there was going to be more than one. I don't know why I thought there was going to be more than one. There's only one vampire, and there wasn't that much slaying. So what do we think about that? Okay, we've got 3.5 and 4. Okay, I haven't fully decided. I think I'm around this. I'm around the 3.5, but quite frankly, I could be swayed to go either way. Like, I could be talked down or talked up. I could do both. So, because there were things I liked and there was things that I didn't like. But yes. All right, let's talk about the horror, because I do not read that much horror. I do sometimes, but not always. How scary did you find this book? And I've got discussion point, the cockroach scene in the attic. I honestly going back to the author's note, I forgot that it was horror when I first started reading, and I was like reading about the first couple of pages, the women in the book club. I was getting into the vibes, and then the scene with Anne Savage, like, and the raccoon attacking Patricia came, and I was like, what is happening here? And then I remembered this is a horror book. I just forgot that it was horror. I don't read that much horror, so maybe that's why. But how scary did you find the book? Because I thought, like, I was worried. Okay, we've got 3 stars as well. Okay, we're all around the same, which is good. Should the book title include vampires? Are we annoyed that we weren't able to figure out he was a vampire on our own? That is an excellent point. Good question. Because, yeah, like when I was giving the non-spoiler synopsis and I said, I think we all know it's going to have a vampire because it's in the title. I guess it would have been fun to figure it out on your own, like, as the book progressed, and have, like, yeah, that as not part of the given plot. That's interesting. I feel like that would have been fun. Okay, Lacey, you thought it was really scary, but you don't often read horror thriller. Yeah, I'm the same. The cockroach scene. So I was worried, like, I specifically did not read it before I went to bed because I was like, am I going to have nightmares? But I don't think this would have given me nightmares. I feel like I've discovered if, because I was worried about the children, that there was going to be children getting harmed in it, because I know the synopsis said, like, children go missing. And Michaela, who, I don't think she's here, but Michaela had messaged me when she was reading it to say, like, heads up, like, stuff happens to children in this book. I feel like I'm okay if it's, like, a paranormal, like, a vampire attacking everyone. I was kind of like, okay, like, it's just, I'm here for a fun time. But if this was, like, a murderer, like, a real, just a normal serial killer, I would have been so scared. Like, I wouldn't have been able to read it. But it was more gross, like the cockroach scene in the attic with the cockroach going into her ear. My God, no. And the rats, sorry, that is horrendous. Okay, I have a slide coming up about this. I do, because I was like, what is going on with this vampire? Yes, okay, I feel the same as you then. Okay, not scary, but ew in certain parts. It was definitely, like, gross horror, but it wasn't like I was gonna have nightmares about it. Maybe have nightmares about how gross it was. The scene in the attic. Okay, yeah, I agree. The scene in the attic, the cockroaches, and the fact that he was coming in, and it was just, we're reaching the end of the book here. So yeah, I think we can all agree, definitely ew. The cockroach scene made me gag, but I didn't find it scary exactly. Okay, I think we're all agreeing then. I'm glad, because I wasn't sure if people were going to just think it was fine if you read a lot of horror, but I wasn't sure what to expect when something is a horror book. Like, I don't know if it's gonna scare me, and I feel like the horror I like is kind of lighter horror where it's not super scary, but it's just kind of weird. But yes, all right, moving on to talking about the vampires. Sasha's already brought this up. I did research onto the history of vampires, and that could be a presentation on its own, so I'm not going to make this extra long by talking about that. But just going by the classic vampire, so like the Dracula that we all think of, versus the Grady Hendrix vampire in this story, there are a lot of differences. I don't think I was expecting this type of vampire. So number one, the drinking blood. Classic vampire, they've got fangs. You know, they're usually going for a visible vein on the wrist, on the neck. That's what I thought of a classic vampire. That's what's in movies. That's what's in Twilight. Like, I don't know. Grady Hendrix vampire, that did not happen. What happened was his jaw, like, opened up and a weird long thing came out. And for some reason, he always was naked, and so was the victim. And he went for the inner thigh, like, near their privates. Why? Grady, why? Why did the vampire do that? Oh my gosh. The husband in Carpenter's was a serious part. I got some things to say about the husbands coming up. The husbands were scary. I agree. The husbands were scary. Yeah, so Grady Hendrix vampires were not the same as what I was expecting. I don't know. I just thought this was going to be a traditional vampire. Choice of victim, yes, but also why children? Choice of victim. And this is a conversation that I know has been in the horror community before, but his choice of victim was always women and children. no men. Like, I was reading the book thinking, offer up these men. Say, you can have the men and you can do whatever you want and we'll just go on our merry way. Like, give him the men. Offer them up as tribute. Because, like, why was the choice of victim always a child? Next up, turning vampires. Again, a traditional vampire, like in other books that I've read, when they get bitten, something happens with that and that turns them into a vampire. In like the Cassandra Clare books that I read, those ones, once you get bitten, like it like draws you back to the vampires and you have to be buried in a graveyard and then you get turned. Otherwise, if you just ignore it, you don't get turned once you've been bitten. Not anything that happens like that in Grady Henry's like, no, that's not how I'm going to make my people turn into vampires. For some reason, when he rapes Slick, the semen is what was turning her into a vampire? What? Why is that how that happened? Unless I've got it wrong, none of the people that he drank from were turning into vampires. They were killing themselves. But then Slick was hospitalized and something was growing in her throat and it was the thing for the like, why is that? Why did that happen? Why did that happen? Oh my gosh. They have bad breath. Did they? Interesting. Was anything in this book about bad breath? I don't recall that. I don't recall that ever happening. Yeah, it was weird. This was not a traditional vampire. I don't know. And then killing vampires, I feel like this one was normal because they were going to burn him. And I feel like that's the traditional. He went traditional for that one because they were planning on getting all the bags and burning them all because one of the women, Mary Ellen or something, worked somewhere where they could, yeah. But the drinking of the blood and the turning of the vampires, like, why was that so, like, that was interesting. It was an interesting choice. Not sure how I feel about it. And why did he always have to be naked? Why was he biting them in their inner thigh? And he didn't have fangs. He had a weird, like, jaw, like, okay, they didn't burn him. No. I feel like it was open-ended to be like, did they get rid of him? Like, is he just moving around in those bags? What happened? Yeah, I don't think they did at the end. They didn't say. Into Grace and her husband's plot. That's what I thought because they didn't have access to the, what's it called? So I feel like it's meant to be open-ended, like, did they actually get rid of the vampire or not? Maybe he thought guys' blood tasted gross. Maybe. But just the men were just gross in general. So maybe he caught on to that idea. But, like, why in horror, like, it's always the women and the children? Like, can we have some horror against men? Yeah. I think it wasn't confirmed on purpose. I'm guessing. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. All right. The wives. Do you think that he wrote the wives well? Because this is obviously a man writing from the perspective of women mostly, and also 90s. He had that author's note saying like he was like it was for his mum because he took her for granted and he wanted to write her as like this vampire killer. Do we think he wrote the wives well? You think Grady just didn't want to hurt the men? Yeah. I think this is just a classic man. I have some photos from things I wrote about the women. So I feel like he got the vibe with like how people treated the women. For example, this is when they were talking about like the book club, and one of the women is saying, I thought we wanted to better ourselves, expose ourselves to thoughts and ideas from outside Mount Pleasant. The men all say it's not too clever for a girl to be clever, and they laugh at us. They think we only care about our hair. The only books they give us are cookbooks because in their mind we are silly, lightweight, know-nothings, and you've just proven them right. So I feel like he got the vibes of like how other people treat the women because he's viewed how other people treat the women. This is when they were talking about one of the books, and I do have a quote from Marianne. There we go. I did acknowledge her existence. Why does the man always get to be the main character? Francesca's life is at least as interesting as his when they were discussing a book. So I guess he's like putting it at the wives. He's got the vibe that the wives are like, just no one cares about the wives in this time period, these men. Here's where they were gaslit by the men, and they're saying, we're your wives, like, why can't you believe us? And the men are like, nope. So he got the vibe of how women were treated, but I feel like maybe he didn't get the vibe of the women themselves. Oh my God, this quote. She thought about Bluebeard, where the bride was told not to look behind a curtain door by her husband, and of course she did, and discovered the corpses of his previous brides. Her mother had told her the moral of the story was that you should trust your husband and never pry. That is absolutely not the moral of that story. The moral of that story is look behind the curtains. Like, what? I feel like this is, again, showing how, like, women were treated. This is, women are told, like, oh, just do what your husband says, sort of thing. That, I think he got in the book, like, the women that were just told to be, like, meek, whatever your husband says goes. But, like, the women with each other, I feel like they were just ready to ditch each other. Like, they weren't a team. There was no female friendships. Okay, Sasha's saying that you don't think he can write a housewife. Well, yes. Women and children, always the victims. The way the wives were written and how the husbands treated them made me think it was the 50s, not the 90s. Okay, I agree. I agree. I definitely felt it was very... But we're also... I don't know, maybe I'm not from the south of the US, but, like, is that a southern thing as well? Like, they weren't as progressive and they were kind of had that 50s mindset. Well, at least we didn't have to worry about this in this book because he was nowhere near their necks when he was biting their blood. So he was in a completely different area. Okay, I agree. There was, after that, she first found out that just the children were going missing at night, and then the next chapter she was saying, like, oh, her husband cuddled her, like, in bed to go to sleep for the first time in forever. I'm like, excuse me, sorry, absolutely not. If that was me, the children would be sleeping in the bed, like, we're all having a sleepover in the same room. I'm watching you, we're holding on to each other all night. If you just found out children are going missing here, there, and everywhere, and then you're like, okay, cuddle me, husband. Sorry. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I agree with this because I was like, what is she doing? Absolutely not. Yeah, definitely older than the 90s. I agree on that. Okay, so we're agreed. They definitely have a older mindset than the 90s. Yeah. It felt like they weren't not written as 90s, definitely earlier. And with the children, she just goes and does her own thing. Agreed. There was a couple of lines in there where he said, like, oh, I think it was when she first got attacked and she said, like, oh, tell the children I'm fine. Like, she didn't want them to worry. Okay, little lines like that, but definitely the overall vibe, like, I'm not in the 90s, but I am a mum and I would not be acting the way Patricia acted in some scenarios. Yeah, wrote how they were treated by others. Okay, yeah. I'm glad you agree. Yeah, he definitely got the vibe of how the husbands were treating them, but not how they treated each other and not how they treated the children, which is why I put the author's note at the start, because I'm like, he wanted to write about how they took them for granted, but then he didn't even write about how well they were looking after their kids, because they weren't. She cared about other people's children more than her own. Yeah, she did. Okay, bonus question, because I cry for everything. So the bonus question is, guess which part of the book made me cry? I just am emotional. I feel like I'm extra emotional after I became a mum. And I will read you the part of the book that made me cry, if I can find it. Hold on, I did have it. Which is just a silly tangent that I'm going to take for a second here. Oops, I don't want to knock my mouse. Do I have my glasses? Clue, it's at the very end. Slick's attack. No, that was sad, but it did not make me cry. Exactly. I'm glad others are agreeing with me. I would not be letting them out of my sight at night. Oh no, that was sad too, Destiny's death. No, the part that actually made me cry was on page 397, literally the end, when she is telling the children about the divorce. And Carter, hate him, get him out of here, hate him. He says to them, he's literally saying to the children, I'll be keeping the house and the beach house. I'll pay for your school and college. You don't have to worry about that. And you can stay here with me for as long as you want, because this is your mother's decision. She'll be looking for a new place to live, and it may not be very big, and it may be in another part of Mount Pleasant. She'll have only one car, so you won't be able to borrow it to go see your friends. Your mother may even need to move to a new city. I'm not saying these things because I'm trying to punish anyone, but I want you to have a realistic idea of how things are going to change. And the next line says, then he asked them who they wanted to live with during the week. They both surprised Patricia by saying, Mum. Ah, yes, Sasha. I cried because I'm like, oh my God, they can see through their crappy dad. They want the mum. Like, man. And after that big paragraph of him going on to the kids, like, oh, I'm not trying to punish anyone. I'm just trying to tell you how it is. And then they still want the mum. Like, yes. Go away, Carter. We don't like Carter. Get him out of here. Oh. But yes, I wasn't bawling my eyes out, but I did tear up. I did not think I was going to tear up in a horror book, but yeah, yes, you know me too well. All right, moving on. Oh, while we're talking about the husbands, let's discuss the husbands. Point number 1. When I was reading the reviews, because I do have a slide about some 1-star reviews, when I was reading the reviews, I kept seeing people being like, why didn't she leave him? Or like, why would the wives stay with them? Like, I'm sorry. It's 2023. We are not going to be victim shaming people. And clearly, people leaving these comments have never been in a situation like this or can even empathize of why women would not be able to leave or have the means to leave or feel safe to leave. So these comments can go. That was the first thing I noticed when I was scrolling through reviews, because obviously the husbands are crap. We know the husbands are the worst ever. But here we go. My slide on reasons why the husbands were also the villains of this book. Arguably, maybe even worse than the vampire. Number 1. Are you going to get that? That is referring to the beginning of the book where James knocks on the door, Patricia's serving up dinner. Carter's sitting at the table, hears the knock on the door and says to his wife, are you going to get that? As if she's a maid. Sorry, sir, you live in this house too. You could also go and get the door. She's serving you dinner. Kids do see. I feel like, yeah, he was never around, but also like they see how he treated the mum, and I'm glad they were able to see through it. Number 2. When at the dinner table, after they let him in, Carter tells James at the dinner table that Patty reported him to the police. Like, he said it while James was right there. He was like, oh, by the way, sorry about what Patty did. Like, she feels really bad. And then the kids are there too. And they're like, what did mum do? And then he's like, oh, you should hear it from your mum. And she's like, oh, I just thought he did a bad thing. But I was wrong. I'm sorry. Like, at the dinner table, they're sitting at the dinner table with the vampire. And he literally, like, the worst. Carter's the worst. Number 3, when the wives think the police and the FBI are turning up, but it's the husbands to tell them that James is a man of character, and they just gaslit them. The worst. Number 4, during that exchange where all the wives are like, oh, sorry, and Patricia doesn't want to, and Carter says to her, shake hands with him right this minute like an adult, and he's just speaking to her like she's a child, or like he owns her. God, is the worst. Next one, quote from the book. Dad said I didn't have to listen to you, Corey told her. He said you were going through a phase. I'm sorry. Carter saying that to the child? Oh, you don't have to listen to your mum. She's going through a phase. Sorry. Get out of here. Absolutely not. Next one. When Carter made sure Patricia's wrists were tied in the psych ward because that's how he wanted the children to see her. First of all, that whole psych ward thing in general was the worst. But when she wrote, like, when it was said in the book, like, oh, I realized that's what he organized for that to happen. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Never discuss like that thing in front of the kids. Him speaking for her. Oh, she feels really bad. Yes, the worst. And that's the vampire right there. Like, come on. Next one. When Carter decided to put Blue, the son, on Ritalin without discussing with Patricia first, she even said in the book, like, this is something we should be speaking about together. And absolutely it is. Like, he's just like, oh, I'm just going to make the decisions for everyone. He also put Patricia on medication. Obviously, next point, the cheating on the business trips, which, to be honest, I don't think this was 100% confirmed or not. Like, James said it to her and she also said it back to James. I don't know if it was confirmed, but the husbands were so crap that I'm just going to assume it was confirmed. And it wasn't just Carter, it was all of them. He made my stomach sick and we had grosser scenes in the book. Exactly. When there's a vampire doing disgusting stuff, cockroaches crawling in people's ears, and when the husband is making us feel more sick, yuck. Yes, James would have been. He would have been so happy that he was like had the husbands on board. Gross. Obviously, next point about the husbands, Bennett physically abusing Grace. Other husbands, I think, may have been too, but Bennett was the only one I think that it was on paper. Adding to that. And lastly, how Carter handled telling the kids about the divorce, which was the bit I read you where I was crying, because that is absolutely the worst. The husbands are the worst. We can all agree. Hate the husbands. Worse than the vampire. Okay, so it was true. All right, I wasn't sure. Because I know she said, but then I wasn't sure if she was saying that to James just to like go with the plan or whatever. But it's good to know it was true. Yeah, husbands were awful. They were the worst. Grace's redemption arc. On Grace with her redemption arc. At the beginning, I loved her. She was like this organizer where when there was a problem, she's like, yep. She calls up people. Yeah, I've got so-and-so coming over to help you. She was organizing everyone. She was so caring for everyone. Obviously, we found out she's not in a very good home situation. And then she really turned. She did not want to help Patricia, but she got her redemption arc at the end. She came and helped them clean up. And then at the very end, when Patricia was divorcing, honestly, I wish Grace was divorcing also, but I feel like hers is a trickier situation. But she even said to Patricia, like, oh, my mum always told me to have like money set aside for myself, like secret money from your husband. And she gave it to Patricia, but like, Grace, you need the money for yourself. Like, you need to get out, girl. I was rooting for Grace at the end. The middle, I was, oh my God, same. I also want to friend like Grace because I'm like, I get frazzled in situations. So like when Patricia was having issues and Grace was calling up like, yeah, I got someone coming over. I'm on it. Like when she organized Mrs. Green, loved Grace. Who was your favorite character, by the way? I feel like mine is Mrs. Green. She was so underrated. She needed to be in it more. Mrs. Green was the best. The way they never believed them was the worst. So frustrating. The gaslighting. They just were like, no, you have no idea what you're talking about, wives. Like, we're the husbands. We know what we're talking about. You don't. But they did not. They were the worst. In the end, yes, I was Team Grace in the end. And even though obviously Patricia needed help in her divorce, I kind of wish Grace realized like her mum was telling her save money for yourself, but it's for you. Like you need to do it as well. But, you know, we can all just pretend that the roles got reversed afterwards and Patricia ends up helping Grace. They can live together and be happily ever after. Maybe they can be the vampire lesbians in this book. Not vampires though, but they can just be lesbians. Ragtag because he kept peeing on James. Okay. Also, Ragtag was a good character. Ragtag was good. Actually, that was making me really sad when Ragtag was getting sick. That also... What was that noise? Oh my God, now I can hear noise. I'm getting nervous. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Ragtag, the whole Ragtag thing was also making me sad. What is that? I think it's a bird outside. Oh my God. Rooting for Grace. Yeah, I was also rooting for Grace. Side question. Why was Patricia's son a Nazi? Did not get why that was in the book. Like, why was Patricia's son like obsessed with Nazis? I thought it was going to have some sort of like correlation to the plot. It was kind of there for no reason. I don't really get why that was there. That was weird. Oh my God, no ghost. I'm hoping it's Kian. I don't know. While we're talking about Nazis, let's talk about race and class in the book. This little picture is from the ending with James's little, with James's spiel at the end. So he says, hang on, this is in my way. Then again, I moved here because you people are all so stupid, he said. You'll take anyone at face value as long as he's white and has money. With computers coming and all these new IDs, I needed to put down roots and you made it so easy. All I had to do was make you think I needed help, and here comes that famous Southern hospitality. Y'all don't like talking about money, do you? That's low class. But I waved some around and you were so eager to grab it, you never even asked where it came from. So obviously race also was playing a part because the police did not care about 6 Mile, but obviously in Mount Pleasant, the women were taken a little bit more seriously. Not really that much, but at least a little bit. At least the police turned up 1 or 2 times. Nazis had no place for this book that brought down a whole star. I agree. I did not know why that was in there. That was so weird. I also don't know the purpose. I thought something was going to happen with that. Like, I thought it was going to have a part to play in the book. It had no part to play. It was so random. Yeah, I don't know. That was odd. Okay, I can see this. I saw you put this in your story, I think. I can see this because Patricia, obviously, with the whole like destiny thing, going with Mrs. Green over to 6 Mile. But I think she also was concerned that it was going to come to their kids as well. The other mothers, no, they couldn't care about 6 Mile one bit. But Patricia, I think she was also worried that it was going to come to them. Obviously, that's the racial commentary, the fact that no one cared about 6 Mile, but you know, the mothers were all grouping together for Mount Pleasant, and also they were rich. So, but I mean, it still didn't help them because the husbands just took over and was like, nope, never mind, there's no vampires, you guys are just silly. But yes, I guess it was like an interesting conversation. I feel like it kind of could have been in there more. I feel like maybe this book would have been more interesting if we were following Mrs. Green and like we got the whole like us versus you situation. But that's not a story for Grady Hendrix because he's white. So maybe another author can do something like that. I don't know. And then on books. Have you read any of the other books that were in this one? There was like a whole list of them because obviously they were reading books for the book club. Salem's Lot and Dracula I haven't read, but they're the only ones that I had heard of. But there was like a Ted Bundy book. At one point when she was researching vampires, there was a bunch of different vampire books that she got out. But has anyone read these ones? And how do these vampires compare if you have? I haven't, but I'm interested in both. So maybe I'll eventually read them and come back to comparing. Because I think it's interesting to compare the vampires because these vampires were not the same. And then lastly, okay, you haven't read them. Yeah, I haven't either, but I do have Dracula on my shelf, unread. But I'll get to it one day. But I am interested. I feel like I do like vampires. Dracula's on your TBR for next year. Okay, maybe I'll read it next year too. Yeah, I feel like I do like vampires. And I had a lot of fun when I was researching vampires when I wanted to see, because after I finished this book and I was like looking at the crazy vampire stuff, I'm like, this can't be right. Like where is he getting this from? Like, is he pulling this from some sort of thing? Like, where's he pulling this from? No, he just pulled it out of nowhere. But some countries have really interesting vampire folklore that they like told each other about vampires. Like, I would be interested to learn more about vampires. So maybe I will read some. Okay, yeah, sorry, the 1-star reviews. I got distracted. I'll read them in case anyone is viewing on a phone, except I can't see this top one. So first one says, I don't understand why an educated man such as Grady Hendrix would want to portray every woman in this book as a complete idiot. I'm going to be honest. Some of the decisions were not the smartest. But, yeah. Number 2. It's going to be a no for me, fam. Female friendships written poorly. Okay, the friendships, yeah, I got to agree on that one. Unnecessary assault, use of race relations that felt exploitative, and a perplexing focus on pubes, plus that cockroach scene, nope. There were a lot of descriptions of pubes, but we're also in the 90s. Although I will say, the description, going back to the scene, like, with the daughter, why did Grady Hendrix have to describe in detail what the daughter looked like naked? Like, we didn't need to know that. She's underage. We don't need to know what she looked like naked. Like, I didn't like that. And that's what I feel like. I was enjoying the book and it could have got a higher rating, but I didn't like that. DNF, hated the way he writes women and further perpetuates Southern stereotypes. Hard pass for me. Okay, this is what I was referring to at the beginning when I was talking about, like, the setting. there were other reviews saying like they didn't like the way that it was stereotyping like people in the South. But I don't know. But you guys said it was accurate, but I don't know. And last one, I need to bleach my eyes and bring back, I'm guessing that's meant to say book burning for this. Okay, you've read Dracula. Dracula Daily is cool. It's told in letters each day of the Wait, that's fun. Dracula Daily emails you the entirety of Dracula. Each day, the calendar year. What? I need to look this up. Dracula Daily. Dracula. My lesbian / vampire nails are inhibiting my typing ability. Emails in real time as it happens. Oh my gosh, how fun. Get the classic novel Dracula emailed to you in real time as it happens. Type your email. Whoa. I mean, I actually have the book, but that is fun. What a way to get people to like be into a classic. How cool is that? Oh, I'm done with this, so I probably don't need that. I can go back to, I think I can go back to this screen because I'm done with the reviews. That is fun. Oh my gosh. I do have the book downstairs, but yes. Do we have any final thoughts about the book? I don't know if there's anything else that I didn't put in there into the slideshow. I think that maybe was all I had. But yeah, I was enjoying following mums. But yeah, I just couldn't like rate it highly because the women and the children, and why were we describing the children naked, and why was that the way he drinks blood? Like that was odd. And then the Nazi thing. If it wasn't for those, I feel like I could have rated it highly because I feel like it was really fast. It was like, it wasn't boring. It was kept me engaged. So overall, I would recommend it to people. Like, I wouldn't say don't read this, but I just wish like there was a few things. Okay, it starts on May 3rd. Okay, I will look into it. That is so fun. Yes, does anyone else have anything else to bring up? I think that was like all I had maybe on this book. I don't know. Thank you. I was really nervous, but it was a lot of fun. I think that this whole like giving the book club presentation, that is the teacher in me coming back out. So yes, I'm excited. We can talk about next month. So next month, in case anyone does not know / forgotten, Little Fires Everywhere is the book. It's been out for a while. I got mine used ages ago, so you can hopefully find a used copy. It's also been adapted. I don't know if I am going to watch the adaptation like before the live, because I don't really watch TV. And it's kind of long because it's TV. I don't think it's a movie. I think it's TV. So I don't know, but I'll see. So yes, this is the November book. Hopefully you can access a copy, or like maybe people have already read it because it's been out for a while now, and we can discuss. I realized that I have picked like multiple books in a row that's following mums, because like this is obviously following mums but a vampire, and this is following mums as well, suburban mums. Didn't really mean to do that. Maybe pick less mum books for next year, but I'm excited to read this one. I think it's gonna be so much fun, and I have it as a 5-star prediction because like there's no way this can't be 5 stars. Like there's no way. It's gotta be. I've got high hopes for this one. You got the audiobook. I also have the audiobook ready to go. I'm hoping the audiobook is good. I'm going to do like dual as well. I literally, okay, this is getting a bit crazy, but I have the physical clearly right here. I got the audiobook from my library, and I also have the ebook because what if I want to read and it's dark and I'm in bed and I want to read the ebook? But also if I highlight and take notes on the ebook, it will automatically connect to my Goodreads and I can like flick through it that way. But then I also want the physical book. So I have all three ready to go. I'm prepared for this next one. Hi, Cami. Hello. How are you? Oh, thank you very much. That's very kind of you. I think that's all I had to say in terms of the actual book club. I don't know if there's anything else. I'm not sure that there's anything else that I needed, but hopefully someone wants to join me for this one. All for her. Yeah, I feel like, I know you always have like ebook when you have the physical copy as well. I know you do that. So I maybe am following in your footsteps because I've really been liking doing the ebook. It's just convenient when the annotations can like transfer straight over, and I can write like a Goodreads review and have the annotation. So when I'm doing the presentation for next month, I'll be able to click and see instead of having to like flick through and look for my annotation. I don't know. We'll see if I read the ebook or not. But I have it ready. It's been out for a while, so it's easy to access. So I am planning for next year. This first live went pretty smoothly, I think. So I'm planning for next year. I know, Lacey, you have like your whole next year's books planned, or like most of them, and you're asking mine. I have some tentative books like slightly locked in, not locked in, just like almost locked in. Because I'm thinking, I know I chose like backlist ones, but I'm gonna attempt to do some like recent releases. I kind of want to do the Emily Henry book as 1 month when that comes out, just because like that's a really easy one to access. Usually Australia we have it like Kmart and Big W, and I think in the US it's pretty easy to get. So I'm thinking about doing that one. I'm trying to pick things that like should hopefully be easy for people to find. So I'm thinking about doing the Emily Henry one time. I recently discovered Kindle annotations. I'm obsessed now. So good. It makes it so easy because you can write the notes, and then when I'm looking at my computer later, it's all there, and you can just copy and paste it into your Goodreads review. So good. It's annoying that it doesn't work for ARCs though, because like I actually have to physically type those out. Okay, I'm glad you're agreeing on the Emily Henry. I'm thinking if I'm going to do new releases, the Emily Henry one, but also the book that we're reading for your book club, The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. That author has a book coming out next year also, and it looks really good. And I'm thinking about choosing that one as well. Unless you have it in for your book club, and then if we're clashing, I will cancel. But I'm thinking maybe that one because I really, really enjoyed The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. And I feel like also the Emily Henry one, I haven't found an Emily Henry 5-star yet, but I feel like this could be the one because it has tropes that I actually do like. So I feel like it could be fun for a live discussion. I'm trying to also pick like a range of genres. I do think I'm going to try and do lessons in chemistry still, just because again that one's really easy for people to get their hands on. It's also being adapted. I'm not purposely trying to pick books that have been adapted, but yeah, I don't know. That's my plans for now, and I haven't really decided on like 2 of the months, the first 6 months. June I haven't decided. I'm still thinking, but that's my thoughts for that now. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. We can compare book. Okay, I'll message you my ideas and you can tell me. By the way, if anyone here wants to join Lacey's book club as well, do so, because I think, are you having your live, did you say this weekend? For the Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. Spoiler, I loved it. I loved it so much. It was so cute. I'm excited to see what you guys thought in the discussion, but I did see in the Discord, I think you guys liked it. But yes, I'll give you my ideas, and then if anything clashes, we can go from there. But yeah, I think that's it for this book club. Thank you so much for everyone who came and discussed. This was so much fun. I'm so glad I picked this book as the first one, even though it wasn't 5 stars. It was fun, and it was about book club, and it was a fun time. And this live was a lot less scary than I thought it was going to be. Does anyone want to tell me what you're reading right now? What's your last 5-star read? I just had a 5-star. I finished Shark Heart, and I bawled my eyes out for most of it. I was crying so much, and I think it's like my favorite book of the year. So okay, Saturday at 6 p.m. Chicago time, so that will be Sunday at 10 a.m. for me. 11 a.m. What time is it for you now? It's 11 a.m. for me now. So depending on what time it is for you now. Okay. So Sunday. I think I'll probably be there. I'm glad you had fun. I had fun too. Oh, I'm glad you gave it 5 stars. I gave it 5 stars also. Yes. 7 Days in June for June. That would be fun. I have read it, but I'm planning on doing, I'll just talk about it now. I'm planning on doing rereads as well for the book club because I think that will be fun. I want to pick Big Little Lies. Again, I'm sorry, it's also about mums, but Big Little Lies is my favorite. I've been saying that's my favorite book ever, and I have not reread it. I'm scared to reread it, but I want to pick it for the book club and make other people reread it so we can talk about it because I want to talk about that book with people. So I have read 7 Days in June, but I would be up for rereading. Okay, now I'll mark it down as an option. It's on your TBR. Oh, it's 7 p.m. for you now. Okay, so that means it'll be 10 a.m. Okay, yeah, okay, 10 a.m. Sunday. Lock it in. It is so good. It was in my favorites of the year last year. I really liked it. And it's a second chance romance, and I don't usually like second chance romances, but I liked this one. It was the exception. Okay, 7 Days in June. It could be a good option for June. What a fun idea. Why didn't I think of that? If anyone else has any other options, because I know June, I was trying to think of like a gay book for June, but that could be fun too. I'm good with reading about mums. Yeah, I feel like maybe that's why I also have been picking up books like that. But yeah, Big Little Lies is I keep saying that's my favorite book ever. But I want to reread to confirm. So if anyone wants to reread that book, I think I haven't decided, but maybe March next year. If yeah, I want to plan my book club out in advance so it gives me and I'll announce it. So then that holds me accountable to actually do it. Because I always get in a reading slump in March. So I'm like, if I pick it for March, then hopefully it'll draw me out of my reading slump that I get in every year in March, apparently. Oh, I'm losing my voice. Excuse me. All right. Well, anyway, we've discussed the book. You've never read it. Okay. Wait, are we talking about 7 Days in June still? Or Big Little Lies? Either way. I'll message you my book club ideas. I only have like the first 6 months, but it was pretty much everything I've said right now, though. I just don't know. I haven't picked... like these ones, I was nervous about picking a new release because I thought like it might not give people as much time to read it, but I don't know. The Emily Henry one, that's so popular that I'm sure people are going to be able to get it. Like, anyway. Am I smudging? I've got black everywhere. Yes, but this was so much fun. Thank you to everyone who came. I was very nervous to start. I was nervously sitting at my computer like checking everything over and over again, but I had so much fun. Oh, Big Little Lies. Okay. It also has been adapted. I'm accidentally just picking everything that's been adapted or being adapted. I have watched the TV show for that one. I like the book better, but I feel like I don't know if people who are here have seen the TV show. If you've seen the TV show and you haven't read the book, you can still read the book because the TV show is a little different. Big Little Lies I also cried in, and I know with where my life is now, I'm going to absolutely sob if I reread it. Thank you. It was fun preparing it all and everything, and making the whole like stream look very vampire-y, and the peaches on the cover. I tried. I was going to do like full makeup, but it is Halloween for me right now, and I think I'm going to paint my face later on for trick-or-treating. So I didn't want to have to do my makeup like crazy and then do it again. So we just went with the lipstick for today. But maybe next time I'll do, well, what can I do? Maybe next time I can draw like flames on my face. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I just have to take things extra. But yes, thank you so much for coming. I think I'm going to end it soon. I wasn't sure how long I was going to take for the actual discussion like, I didn't know if I'd reach an hour, but I guess I just talked on and on and on, and we're already at over an hour now. So I don't want to keep everyone. And I'm just realizing, sorry, I'm just refreshing. Sasha dipped out because she is live on her channel. So if anyone wants to do reading sprints, Sasha has just exited the live here so that she could go and do sprints on her channel. So if anyone wants to do that, I'm probably going to have to go and deal with my son. So I'm probably not going to like sprint, but if anyone wants to, because I'm not going to stay too much longer. Thank you. I'm glad you had fun. The flames. Yeah. I'll see how I go with the flames. Yes, you are late. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You can watch the replay though. Sorry, we're almost ending. But reminder, since you just joined, this is next month's book. I'm very excited for it. And yeah, hopefully it'll be as fun as this one. Before we go, does anyone want to let me know what they're currently reading? Any recommendations? I know I asked for last 5-star reads. What's our current read? I'm about to start The Writing Retreat, a thriller. I've read a couple of thrillers. But I'm also reading like just a random fluffy Australian fiction book. I might start the Finley Donovan book too. It's on my TBR. But what are we currently reading? Does anyone have any thoughts to share on their current books? Did anyone say their current books? Delicious Monsters. I need to see if I can. I can't get the physical, but I can maybe get the ebook and see. Is that horror? It's horror, right? But young adult. I'm smudging. I think it's young adult horror, right? I'll see. Maybe I can get the audiobook and just like listen to it. I'll see how I go, because that's for November. Your book. Finally made it first in line at the library for Fourth Wing. I'm sure you had a very long wait for the library, because that is a very hyped book at the moment. I don't think I'm going to read that one, but I hope you enjoy it. Magic Steeped in Poison, YA fantasy, yes, nay, finish Only When It's Us. Only When It's Us. I feel like no, maybe I haven't read that one. I don't know. I'm not good at remembering titles. I'm so bad. Okay, young adult horror. Magic Steeped in Poison, that has a pretty cover, right? If I'm thinking of the right one. I don't really read young adult fantasy, so I haven't read that one. But I hope you enjoy it, since you're starting it today. And I hope you enjoy Delicious Monsters. I hope you enjoy Fourth Wing. And I hope everyone has a good reading day. Also, happy Halloween again. It is Halloween already here. I haven't read enough to have an opinion. Okay. Well, hopefully it's good. And does everyone have plans for Halloween? The Woman in Me. I've never heard of that. I don't think that title sounds familiar to me. What is your thoughts? Is it good? I hope you're enjoying it. Yes, do we have Halloween plans? Are you dressing up? Do you have something planned? I think we're going to go trick-or-treating. I'm going to take Kian trick-or-treating. We don't have it. It does not happen a lot in Australia. It's not really an Australian holiday here. But there is one area near my mum's house, so I'm going to go there and walk around, because I know they definitely have houses that set up. But if you just go to a random street, you're probably not going to, you knock on the door, they're going to be like, And I think we're going to be ghosts, mostly because last year, like, it is so hot. Like, I'm sweating in my chair right now. And last year it was so hot that Kian couldn't wear his costume. Like, it was too hot for it. So I think we're going to do ghosts, and I'm going to like maybe paint his face. And then if he wants to take the ghost sheet off, he can just have a painted face. I don't know. I haven't fully decided on that, but I'm definitely going to go for painted face, because that means he won't have to take something off and be too sweaty. First in a series. Okay, maybe I don't think I've read it then, because I haven't. Maybe it's something that sounds similar. Covers with flowers. Oh. Only When It's Us. I don't know. Maybe I'll look it up later. Happy Halloween. Yes. and it'll be Halloween for everyone else in a number of hours. But yes, it's already Halloween in Australia. Going trick-or-treating. Yeah, I'm sure trick-or-treating is better overseas because, yeah, not many houses have it here. Yeah, I don't know how my face painting is going to go, but I'm going to try it. I will give it a go. But yes, anyway, I'm going to probably sign off now. And go and deal with my son. I hope we all have a good day. We trick-or-treat. We don't live in the suburbs. We don't get any kids. Nothing special. Might hang out with the neighborhood and drink wine. Well, that's fun. At least that's fun for you. Yeah, we definitely, if I tried to walk around here, I would not find anyone. Like, we have to go somewhere where specifically people have said we do Halloween. Near my mum's house, they have like a thing that if you have a decoration out the front, it means you're doing it. And if you don't have any decorations, it means the house is not participating, so that kids know like which houses to knock on and which to not knock on. Because yeah, we don't really do it here. So yeah. Yes, have a good rest of your day. And yeah, happy Halloween. Travel, we have to travel. Yeah, okay. So I'm not the only one that has to travel. It's not too far away, but yeah, I will have to travel because yeah, no one here is going to have anything. I don't think. Oh, The Woman in Me is Britney Spears. Duh, of course. I hope you enjoy it. I want to read that too, but I'm seeing so much about it. People are already like posting their reviews and stuff that's in it. I would be interested to read that also. But yes, I hope you enjoy it. Let me know how it goes. Yeah, I didn't even think that's the title. I'm not a title girl. Like if the title's not specific like this, like I'm gonna remember this title, but if the title's not specific to the book, like something super unique, I'm not gonna remember. I need the cover. Just snowed 10 inches. Oh my god. It is not snowing here. It is so hot. I'm sweating and I think I still have my aircon going, so I'm gonna go out in the other room now under the aircon and like cool down because the light is like really bright here. But yeah, all right, sorry, I've said I'm going for like 5 times now. I'm actually going now. Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate everyone coming. It's so nice of everyone to be here and leave comments and stay for like a whole hour. Very nice of you. But yes, hopefully you're here next month and we'll be able to chat again. But yes, all right, I'm going to head out. How do I end this? But thank you so much.